So if I get to know the needs and wants of the consumer, easily I can fetch the product which is needed for the consumer. So no. So to get to know the needs and wants of the consumers, usually makes the payment for product or service. As a customer, okay, so I am going to make the payment for the product or the service. Before they make the purchase decision, okay, so it is going to say how exactly their behavior when it comes in terms of consumer. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Aid College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. Today we are going with a new subject, that is consumer behavior, that is for 5th semester BBA students. Guys, in today's session we are going with session 1 of unit 1. It's about introduction to consumer behavior. So here, this is the agenda of today's session. Today we are going with a basic introduction about the concept, that is consumer behavior, need for studying the consumer behavior, what is the actual need for studying the consumer behavior, difference between customer or buyer, consumer or user. Of course, the customers are the buyers, consumers are the users. They may ask you the difference between the customers and consumers, and they may ask you the difference between buyers and users. The answer is one and the same. Difference between the industrial buyer and organizational buyer. Who are all the people who are known as industrial buyer? Who are all the people who are known as organizational buyers? Followed by features of consumers, consumer behavior models. So it is very important question in the exam point of view. Industrial buying behavior model. Okay, so it is about the industrial buyers. Okay, so how exactly the people are going to think to purchase the product. Understanding the consumer through the research process. How exactly we are going to conduct the research to understand the consumers. Introduction. Consumer behavior is a study of how individual customers, group or organizations. Okay, it may be the individual consumers or it may be the group of people or the group of organization or an individual organization select, buy, use and dispose the ideas, goods and services to satisfy the needs and wants. Okay, so how exactly these people are going to buy, purchase, use and dispose the ideas. Okay, so it refers to the actions of the consumers in the marketplace and the understanding motives for these actions. Okay, so this we call it as a consumer behavior. Okay, in the simple word, if I want to say means, okay, so how exactly the consumer is going to purchase the product, which are all the factors he is going to consider while purchasing the product, how exactly his behavior in the marketplace, that we call it as a consumer behavior. Moving forward, meaning of a consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is a complex and dynamic process. Okay, so what they had said, they are saying that it is a complex process. There is a complexity when it comes in terms of buying the product. The mindset of the people is different. The way how they are going to purchase is different from the another group of people. Okay, so their mindsets are different, mentality is different, influencing factors are different, abilities, capacities are different. Okay, so the way how they are going to think is different. Okay, so there is a total complexity while purchasing the product. Okay, so that we call it as a complexity when it comes in terms of consumer behavior. And also it is a dynamic in nature. Okay, which keep changing from time to time. It does not remains constant, changing from trend to trend, generation to generation. Okay, so of deciding what product to buy, when to buy, how to buy, from whom to buy. Okay, so this is a decision making process. Okay, so what kind of the product is needed, how to secure, how to use, how to dispose to satisfy the individual group or the organization's need. Okay, so when to buy, how to buy, whom to buy. Okay, so what is the need of buying this product, with whom I am going to purchase the product, what is the use of purchasing this product. Okay, is it worth for money. Okay, so these are all the questions so the consumer is going to think when it comes in terms of marketplace. Okay, that is what we call it as a consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is a decision making process and physical activity. It is a physically the consumer is going to involve while purchasing the product. It is a physical activity it is. Okay, so individuals, group or the organization engage while involving, acquiring, using or disposing the goods and services. They had involved themselves. It may be the individual customer, it may be the group of customers, it may be the organization or group of organization while purchasing the product. Need for studying consumer behavior. Here, this slide is going to say about what exactly the need of the entrepreneurs to study the consumer behavior. Why we need to know the behavior of the consumer in the marketplace. To understand the consumer needs, and wants. Okay, so if I get to know the needs and wants of the consumer, easily I can fetch the product which is needed for the consumer. So no, so to get to know the needs and wants of the consumers, develop suitable products. Okay, so we need to develop the product as per the needs and wants of the consumers. Okay, so there is a need. As per their need, I need to fetch the product. What if I give the different product rather than their need? They are not going to buy it. Okay, so we need to facilitate the product. Okay, so which is need for the consumer or the want for the consumer. As I said, it is a market-centric approach, consumer behavior. Okay, so when it comes in terms of a behavior of the consumer, they keep purchasing the product as per the trend, as per the generation. It keeps changing. Okay, so we need to fetch the product as per the convenience of the customer, as per the trend, as per the generation, as per the market. To understand the buying decision process. Okay, so here we need to understand the buying decision process. Okay, so my buying decision process is different when compared to other people. Okay, so I am going to take the decision based on the saying of my social group. Most of the people take the decision on the basis of advertisement. Most of the people are going to purchase the product based on the marketing activity or offers and discounts. Yes or no? So it differs from one person to another person. We need to recognize it to take the competitive advantage. Identify the target markets. Okay, so we need to identify the target markets and also the target customer. If I'm manufacturing some thing, okay, so I need to identify who is my target customer. Say for example, I'm manufacturing the pen. Who is my target customer? The youths or the students. So no, so that is the way to improve the marketing strategy. Okay, so to improve myself, what exactly the people are going to like in my product, or what exactly the people are going to like in others product, so that I can include the same strategy in my product also. Okay, so that is a thing to take the competitive advantage. To understand the consumer preferences, what exactly the consumers are preferring to have, what exactly the taste of the consumer, what exactly the behavior of the consumer in the marketplace. So to know this, to face competition. Okay, so to face the competition or to take the competitive advantage among the competitors. Say for example, my competitor is going to sell this pen for 10 rupees. If I enter the market, I need to provide the same quality of a product with the pricing of 9 rupees or 10 rupees. Okay, so if I sell it for 15 rupees, none of the people are going to buy it. Yes or no? So I need to include a very good feature when compared to my competitor, and I need to sell it with the affordable price when compared to my competitor. To increase customer satisfaction. Okay, so if I satisfy the customers, they are going to be loyal towards me. They keep buying my product repeatedly. If I am not satisfy the customers, no, so they won't buy my product. So difference between the customer or buyer, consumer or user. So customers are the buyers, consumers are users. It is a 5 marks question, guys. Okay, so customer and consumer. The meaning of the customer is a buyer, is a person who purchases a product or service from the seller. Okay, so being a customer, he is going to just buy the product. Okay, so being a consumer, the consumer is user, is the person one who is actually consumes or uses the product or service. Okay, so here these people are the buyers. Okay, so these people are the users. Say for example, okay, so I am a customer. Okay, so I had purchased the product. Okay, so if I use the same product, I am going to become the consumer. Okay, so if I purchase the product, I am going to become the customer for the brand. I am going to offer the same product to somebody else who is going to use the product, means they are going to become the consumer. The one who is going to use the product, they are going to become the consumer. The one who are going to purchase the product, they are going to become the customer. The main role of customer is to make the purchase, complete the buying transaction. So if I pay the money and buy this pen, okay, I am going to become the customer for the business. Finally, the main role is to consume the product to satisfy the needs and wants. So if I use the product, I am going to become the consumer. Okay, the moment I use the product, no, then only I can become the customer. The moment I purchase the product, then only I can become the customer. The moment I use the product, I am become consumer. Payment usually makes the payment for product or service. As a customer, okay, so I am going to make the payment for the product or the service. As a consumer, may not make the payment for the purchased product or the service. So if I purchase the product, okay, so I may not make the payment when it comes in terms of consumer. Again, another question for 5 marks, dear students. Okay, so the difference between the industrial buyer and organizational buyer. So simply I want to make the difference. Okay, so industrial buyers are the people or the industries one used to take the raw materials and fetch it into the finished product. Conversion of raw materials into finished product, that is industrial buyer. Organizational buyers are, it may be the service sector or the product sectors also. Okay, it won't do any kind of the manufacturing activity. Okay, so it is going to just go with the bringing and selling the product, buying and selling the product, or any kind of the administrative work or the thing it is going to do with. Okay, so here when it comes in terms of a meaning of the industrial buyers, an industrial buyer purchase goods and services mainly for manufacturing production purpose. Okay, so as I said, the industrial buyers are the people who are going to buy the product, buy the raw materials for the manufacturing purpose or the production purpose. The main functionality of them is, okay, conversion of raw materials into finished product. The organizational buyer purchase goods and services on behalf of the organization for the various business purposes. Okay, so it may be the various purpose. Okay, it may be the agent. Okay, so it may be the wholesaler, it may be the retailer, it is also a kind of organization, it may be a service sector also. Okay, so for the various business purposes. The main purpose when it comes in terms of the industrial buyer, the buyer used purchased goods as a raw materials, components, machinery, or the inputs in the production process. Okay, so whatever the things that is required to conversion of raw materials into finished product, it may be the machinery, it may be the raw material, it may be the chemicals. Okay, so whatever the thing it is, when it comes in terms of organizational uses, to support the overall activities and the operations of the organization. It is going to support the overall activity and the operations of the organization when it comes in terms of organizational uses. Nature and purpose of this industrial buyers is, purchase are mainly related to production and manufacturing activity. As I said, whatever the good that they are going to purchase, that is relevant for the manufacturing kind of thing. Purchase may include raw materials, office supplies, equipment, service, and organizational requirement. So it may be the raw materials or any kind of the organizational requirement it is when it comes in terms of organization. And nextly, types of products purchased. Okay, what are the types of the product that has been purchased by the industrial buyers is, number one is raw materials, machinery, components, industrial equipments, and production inputs. So these are all the materials that has been purchased by the industrial buyer. Followed by the organizational buyer, office equipments, computers, stationery, furniture, software, services, and the production materials. So these are all the basic requirements that is required for the organization. It is a requirement for the industry. So this is a difference between the industrial buyer and organizational buyer. Features of consumer. So here basically the consumers are consist of a few characteristics. Okay, so by recognizing these characteristics, we can define them as a consumer. Okay, so need oriented. Each and every consumers are need oriented. They need to have some need. Based on the need only, they are going to make the purchase decision. Without need, none of the consumers are going to purchase the product. Okay, so need oriented. These people are need oriented. Different needs and preferences. The need of one category of people is entirely different from another category of people. The need of children are entirely different from youths. The needs of youths are entirely different from aged people. Okay, so it differs from one category of people to another category of people. Influenced by the various factors. Okay, the needs or the products are being influenced by various factors. For example, okay, so most of the people purchase Apple iPhone just because of the premium feel while using the mobile. Most of the people feel that, okay, using the Apple iPhone, okay, so is a symbolic representation of a richness. Okay, so most of the people say that due to the durability, due to the brand image, most of the people are going to purchase the product. Okay, so it differs from one person to another person. Rational and emotional. There are two factors, okay, so influence the people to make a purchase decision. One is a rational factor. Before I purchase the product, I am going to think twice before purchasing the product. I am going to compare with each other. Okay, emotional factor is, if I am satisfied with one particular product, I had addicted to for that particular product, I have been from so long with this product, means I am going to retain in the same brand for a longer period of time. Here, I am going to signify my loyalty towards the product. That is the emotional connection of a customer towards a product. Say for example, okay, each and everybody are going to fix for one brand of oil in your home, okay, edible oil, okay. So for example, most of the people use a sunflower oil, most of them go with Freedom, most of the people go with a Gold Winner, most of the people go with Saffola, okay. So why the people are fixed for one particular brand of edible oil? Because they are satisfied with that oil, brand oil. Okay, so that is the reason, guys. Okay, so that is going to show the emotion towards a product. They are going to show the loyalty towards a brand. Dynamic in nature. Okay, so the behavior of the people keep changing from time to time, trend to trend, generation to generation. Yes or no? So that we call it as a dynamic behavior in the marketplace. Involves decision making process. Okay, the consumer decision making process is a 10 marks question, guys, which we are going to learn in unit 2. Okay, so consumer decision, simply he cannot go to the showroom and purchase the laptop. Before he purchases the laptop, he is going to collect the relevant information. He is going to compare one another, each other brands. So no. So finally, he is going to make the purchase decision on what mode he need to purchase, offline or online. Okay. So these are all the decisions that he is going to make while purchasing the product. Maybe individual or organizational consumer. The consumer may be the individual person. It may be the group of people, or it may be the organization or group of organization also. Influenced by technology. The most of the consumers for today's generation are influenced by technology. They keep scrolling the reels, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Okay, so they are going to see the trend in the market. They are going to see the updated versions in the market. Based on that information that they are going to purchase the product, based on the technology that they are going to make the purchase decision. Okay, next one is consumer behavior models. Okay, this is one of the important question, guys, when it comes in terms of exam point of view. Consumer behavior model explain how consumer think, feel and act while making purchase decision. Okay, so how exactly the behavior of the consumer while purchasing the product. These models help markets understand the factors that influence the consumer behavior and the process through which the consumer make their final purchase decision. Before they make the purchase decision, okay, so it is going to say how exactly their behavior when it comes in terms of consumer. The first model is economic model. Economic model is going to say that, okay, so we need to think about the economic or the financial capacity or capabilities of the consumer while purchasing the product. Okay, everybody cannot afford the luxurious product. Everybody cannot purchase the cheapest product. Okay, it totally depends upon their income. Okay, so their lifestyle. Okay, so these are the factors which is going to influence the people to make purchase decision. Based on this only, we need to formulate a marketing strategy while advertising the product. Can I advertise Rolls-Royce, Benz, BMW for every car purchases? Only for the luxury buyers, right? Okay, so it totally depends upon the consumers. Psychological model. When it comes in terms of a psychological model, it is about the psychology of the people while purchasing the product. Okay, so there are two factors which is going to influence the psychology. One is the conscious and second one is the subconscious. Okay, so this memory power is going to influence the people to make a purchase decision. We need to influence that energy to influence the people to make a purchase decision. That is the psychological model. Sociological model. Okay, so there are certain societal factors which is going to influence the people to make the purchase decision. Say for example, it may be the neighbors, it may be the family members, it may be the official group of people. Okay, it may be the friends. Okay, it may be the relatives. Okay, so by this, okay, this societal factors, the people are going to influence to purchase a product. Okay, that we call it as a societal model. Learning model. Okay, we keep learning in our lifetime. Okay, say for example, okay, so if I purchase a product, okay, I need to learn something out of it, out of that purchase decision. Okay, say for example, I had purchased this pen. Okay, so if it satisfy me, I keep purchasing the same brand of pen repeatedly. If it dissatisfy me, no, I won't repeatedly purchase it. And if my friend want to purchase the same brand of a pen, I won't recommend him. I'm going to demotivate him. I'm going to demarket the product. Okay, this is the behavior of the consumer usually. Okay, so these people are, if they are satisfied, they are going to purchase the product and repeatedly they are going to influence other people. If they are dissatisfied, they are going to influence other people not to purchase, even they won't purchase the product. Okay, so that is what the learning is. Means while purchasing a product, we need to learn something out of it. Okay, so based on the learning, we are going to make the future decisions. Stimulus response model. Here, this is one of the important model, that is a stimulus response model. Whatever the response of the consumers are when it come in terms of the business, okay, are based on the external stimulus, that is based on the advertising and marketing. Whatever the marketing activity we are going to do, whatever the advertising activity we are going to do, okay, based on that the people are going to purchase the product, based on the offers, based on the discounts, okay, so they are going to make the purchase decisions. Howard Sheath model. This Howard Sheath model is going to say about, before the customers are going to purchase the product, they are going to process the information. They are going to compare the product. They are going to think twice before they purchase the product. That is about Howard Sheath model. Angel Kulit Backwell model. Okay, this is the model that has been specially designed to decide the performance of the people or the behavior of the people when it comes in terms of the purchasing behavior. Okay, see what happened. I am an audience. Only look at the advertisement. I am going to be, in the next step, I am going to become the potential customer. Next one, I am going to become the customer. Next one, I am going to become the loyal customer. This is a way how I am going to measure my journey when it comes in terms of purchase habit. Okay, so the main goal of this model is conversion of the audience into potential customer, potential customers into other customer, customers into loyal customers. Next one is industrial buying behavior model. The industrial buying behavior model explains how organizations and the business make decisions when purchasing goods and services. Okay, while purchasing goods and services, how these models are going to take place. Unlike individual consumers, industrial buyers usually purchase production, resale, business operation, or industrial purposes. Okay, so whatever the purpose it is, okay, if they are going to purchase the product, they are with the buyers. Okay, the buying decision generally involve several people, departments, and stages. So as I said, okay, in an organization there are a number of people who are going to work in the favor of organization. There are a number of departments that has been designed in the favor of organization. Say for example, I have a production unit. The production unit, okay, so I have a marketing department, production department, sales department, advertising department, research and development department, human resource department. So this is a way how the classification is going to happen. Say for example, here we are going to find how exactly the industrial buyer is going to buy the product. Before he make buying decision, what is the actual process or the protocol he need to go with. Say for example, I have a sugar factory. Okay, I need to bring the raw material. What is the raw material for the sugar factory? Major raw material, it is a sugar cane. Okay, so here I recognize the need of my organization, saying that there is a need for a sugar cane. Okay, so I had established my organization or the factory in Mysuru industrial area. Okay, so what happened? I need to bring, okay, so the raw materials from Mandya district. There is no farmer who used to grow the sugar cane in the Mysuru district. I need to bring the raw material from the Mandya district. Here, what happened? I am going to define the problem. What exactly the problem is? Here, the problem is the sugar cane cannot be grown in the Mysuru district. So I need to bring from the Mandya district. That is a problem. Okay, how to sort out that problem? Supplier search. Okay, so I need to search for the supplier in the Mandya district. Say for example, there are an n number of farmers in Mandya who used to grow the sugar cane, among which I need to find the farmer who is convenient to me, who can supply the product as per my convenience. Okay, so I recognized 10 farmers when it comes in terms of Mandya district. Okay, so finally I am going to evaluate the supplier. When it comes in terms of evaluation of the supplier, okay, I am going to make sure that, okay, these 10 people, okay, will be supplying the product repeatedly on time, okay, within the time bound, okay. And in the same way, what happens, okay, so I am going to compare this sellers, and finally, I am going to make finalize of 8 farmers to supply the product, and also I am going to take the agreement with them of 5 years, saying that they need to supply so and so tons or quintals of sugar cane to me. Okay, so not only to me, okay, not for any other people. Okay, purchase decision. Okay, finally I am going to make a purchase decision with these people, as I had made the agreement with 8 farmers. Order specification. Okay, so I am going to specify the order regarding the quality of sugar cane. There are n number of qualities when it comes in terms of sugar cane. Quantity of sugar cane, the time bound, each and everything that I am going to specify to this people as per my convenience. performance evaluation. I need to make sure that these all people are going to supply the product as per their saying or as per their agreement. If I find the problem with these people, okay, so I may disqualify them. For example, this 6 people are regular, but 2 people are irregular, I can disqualify them. Okay, so this is a way how I can go with the process. Consumer research process. Okay, so it is a research process of a consumer. Let us see what exactly it is. Consumer research is a systematic process of collecting, analyzing, and influencing information about the consumers. Okay, so it is going to give what? The complete information about the consumer behavior, what exactly the people they are. Okay, so what exactly the product they want. Okay, so what kind of the product, what price they want. Okay, all the things it is going to say. Their needs, preferences, attitudes, buying behavior, and satisfaction. So these all things it has required me to fetch the product for the consumer. It helps business to understand the consumers and make their marketing decisions. Okay, so how to market my product based on this factors. These factors influence me to market my product, produce my product, sell my product, and also to maintain a good relationship with the customer. Say for example, so if I want to find something, there should be a problem. Let me say my sales had decreased by 10% last year. Okay, so I need to find what is the reason for the fall in the demand for my product. Okay, say for example, okay, defining the research problem. I had already defined saying that, okay, so the problem is there is a decrease in the sales of my product of 10% in the last financial year. Say what happened. Next one is setting research objectives. Okay, say I am going to set the research objectives. What is my objective? To find what exactly the reason is why the people are not buying my product, the genuine buyers. Okay, so here developing a research plan. Okay, while developing a research plan, how can I collect the data? While issuing the questionnaire. That is a research plan that I can go with. Next one is collecting the data. I am going to collect the data with sampling. I cannot issue for all my 10 lakh customers. I can issue a sample survey. Okay, in the place. Okay, so I can take the sample of 500 people. Okay, so why they are not buying my product? Okay, so what is the reason why they had shipped for another brand, or what is the reason for the people to buy my product? Okay, so that is a thing. Data analysis. Okay, I analyze the complete data, and finally interpretation of result. I had interpreted the result saying that finally I get to know the result of the consumer behavior saying that the people had decreased buying my product. The reason is the trend that I had followed since, okay, it is not up to the mark. Meanwhile, okay, the product that I am going to manufacture, okay, it is a old trend or old design. I need to get update for a new design or the new trend. Okay, so that is the reason why the people are not buying my product. Drawing the conclusion. So the conclusion is, if I update my product, update the version of my product, the design of my product, the use of my product, okay, then the people are going to buy my product. So I need to work on the changes. Next one is understanding consumers through the research process. Through the research process, how can I understand the consumer? Understanding the consumer through the research process is a systematic process of collecting and analyzing the information about their needs. Okay, it is going to collect the information and analyze the information based on the needs, wants, preferences, attitude, buying behavior, and the satisfaction. It helps business understand who their consumers are, what they want, why they buy, and how they make the purchase decision. So it is going to give the answer for all these questions. So first one is identifying the consumer needs and wants. So before I want to sell the product, I need to recognize the needs and wants of the consumers. Okay, so being an entrepreneur. Understanding the consumer preferences. Okay, so what product that the consumers are going to prefer to have. Understanding the consumer buying behavior. What kinds of the product that the consumers are going to buy in the marketplace. Repeatedly they are going to buy means I'm supposed to give the same kind of product. Identify the factors influencing the consumer. Okay, so these are the factors which influence the consumer to make purchase decision. Understanding the consumer motivation. What is the motivation for the people to make purchase of this product? It may be the social group, it may be the family members, it may be the influencers, okay, it may be the brand name. Okay, so there are number of factors. Understanding the consumer attitude and perceptions. The attitude of the consumer in the consumer market, the preferences. Okay, so that I need to recognize or identify. Understanding the consumer satisfaction. So if I give what kind of the product the consumers are satisfied, if they are satisfied, they keep purchasing the product repeatedly. Understanding the different consumer segments. So we can understand the different segments of consumers. Okay, different segments of consumers. Okay, so these are the things or basic requirement. Okay, we need to know about the studying consumer behavior. In the next session, okay, so we are going with unit 2, guys. Thank you.